I was like, damn it. I was right when I was about to clean up and get off. I wanted to be all one long video, but just to kind of follow up, hopefully you guys can join back really quick, or catch the replay. But I've definitely felt a turning point when I was in that northeastern part of the country. I got guidance to get out of that part of the country and move to the west, okay? So the biggest part of my was starting to surrender. I think when I stopped trying to understand, right, my perception of things, when I started to surrender my perception of things, surrender my understanding of what is going on, release my limitations about what could possibly be going on. I couldn't have been prepared for something like this. And trying to, because me as this, like, know it all, this person who's always prepared for something, right? There was like a lot of naivete and a lot of just obscurities within my life that I didn't realize something like this could be happening. And I think that the biggest part of elevating was to start to listen to my internal guidance. Being in this place and start looking around at the signs and saying, what if I followed these signs? What if I listened? What if this was real? What should I do? You will never believe. I it's hard for me to describe it because it'll make me sound like a crazy person. But I call it on the run. Like Beyonce's On the Run tour, LOL. But I expanded myself with as much information as I possibly can. Sometimes it's not so much as sitting down and reading 1,000 books. That was not how I expanded my information. It was sightseeing, traveling the world, traveling across all as many cities in the United States that I could possibly move on to. You guys will not believe that I rode the Greyhound bus for free, that I slept in the transit center, that I live for free so that I can expand myself by seeing different environments, seeing different cultural groups, seeing how people, watching people's interaction, watching, overhearing communication. Thank you so much, friend. How are you? And I think that that is when I started to challenge my perception of things. It was so much more than I could have even imagined, sparking my creativity and deciding, waking up one day in the transit center with no tampons, no pads, no change of clothes, no gym membership to go take a shower. I remember sitting there one day and saying, get up and find some free tampons. So I got up and I was walking down the streets of New York City, and I literally walked into a miracle. I walked into this church that was handing out sack lunches and hygiene products. And this was in New York City. That's why I call New York City the city of refuge. Walked back to the Greyhound station, went to the bathroom and had a tampon. And I walked back downstairs to sit and charge my phone, and I saw this bum in the station, and they were overdosing on drugs, and there were just people walking past. Everyone walking past. Everyone walking past. No one came. This person was literally overdosing. I said, conductor, can you give me a, what do they call those pens? It's not an EpiPen because that's for people who are having seizures, I think. But it's another kind of tool that they hand out these, especially in urban cities. It's a tool that they have that helps people who are overdosing on the street. That's how bad drug addictions have been. So I said, do you have one of these tools? Whatever, I forget the name of it. But I started to just walk around and look for opportunities. Then one day, I asked my mom. She sent me $5. I went to down to the Dollar Tree. I think I was like a Dollar Tree or like some type of New York City Dollar. New York City got everything, but it's like this is Dollar Store, but this is not Dollar Tree. It's like a general dollar store owned by some neighborhood man. And so I went to this dollar store in the neighborhood. I think I was in Brooklyn, and I noticed that they were doing a lot of gentrification in the neighborhood and stuff like that. And I just was like, let's just go explore. I literally would just get on the bus, because I was so afraid to sleep at night and had no place to sleep at night. I was up at night, running the streets, wide awake. So I usually was like sleep on the bus, sleep walking, just like on during the business hours to try to get some sleep. So a lot of times I was on the bus and I would see different signs. I would see billboards. I would see store names. I would see different types of people. I would see different cultural groups that I never, came across before. I went to the Dollar Tree, got me a marker, a black marker, and got myself a whiteboard. And I said, $10 tarot readings. And I went myself to Union Square and I set up my decks that I had left over because I lost everything I had, but I had like maybe I fit everything into a duffel bag and got on a one-way ticket to New York City and went to the gym and literally used my tarot decks. And I said, look, I'm going to Union Square. And I went to Union Square and I set up my little table and I shared a table with another guy that was there and put my sign up, and people started giving me $10 for a tarot reading. And so now I'm building on my security. Oh, now I have $30 a day, or however often I come out there. Oh, now I can pay a storage facility bill. Okay, I'm gonna go start going to the thrift store. I'm gonna go to the free thrift store, and I'm gonna go and build me a locker out of this storage facility. And now I have enough money because I'm doing free tarot readings. I have enough money to buy a gym membership and buy a storage facility membership. So now I could take a shower. Now I can, keep working at my craft and my creativity. And I spent all of my free time riding around trying to see, sights and just let it spark my creativity and let my wild ass imagination run, because I was really struggling with a lot of different fears and anxieties. So things were just it was hard to choose to like not be scared, choose to trust myself. And when I felt like I needed to evacuate a place, when I felt like I needed to leave, I would not even try. It would not be no explanation. I said, I'm just gonna get up and go. Sometimes I wasn't feeling safe in New York City. I'll take me a one-way $17 bus ticket to Philly that night. Take another $20 bus ticket to DC, or go to Jersey, go to Connecticut, go to New York. And then you guys will not believe that I literally hitchhiked my way from New York City to California in 7 days for free. And when I got to California, I started feeling a lot more safe. So that's when I started working out. I started going to the gym. I had my gym membership, my Black Card Planet Fitness membership, and I started feeling, it was really bad in the Northeast. So I started feeling a lot more safe in the West. And so I was in California, but it was still a little hectic. I was like, I don't like California too much. Came down to Texas. The first time I came to Texas, I was like, oh, I hate Texas. Still hate Texas. Second time here in Texas, still hate Texas, but we're here now, whatever. But then I made it to Arizona. I got stuck in Arizona. It was not easy to hitchhike out of Arizona. It was not easy to hitchhike out of Arizona. Hi, my good friend. Thank you so much. Beautiful like Bitcoin. Can I get some Bitcoin money? Anyways, y'all. But long story short, all that traveling, all those billboards, all those different sites and people, I think it just expanded my mind, and I started to create even if it wasn't real, I started to write stories about what I was perceiving. And slowly but surely, when I got to Arizona, I got stuck in Arizona. I was like, okay, shit. I can't sneak back on the bus. I can't figure it out. I'm like, oh, damn, I got stuck in Arizona. And so I was like, okay, let me just waltz around here. That desert was scary as hell, too, because it was like wide and there was nothing around. It was just like a desert. I was like, it's a lot of rocks and stuff, and it's just real quiet. I'm like, it's a lot of chaos in these rocks. But eventually, I just took a chance and said, what if I could find a place to sleep here? So one day, I walked into Scottsdale Mall, and I wasn't seriously looking for a job, but I walked into this place called the Henna Shop, and I met this guy. I'm gonna call him Mr. Leo. Okay, I met this guy, and he was well, I didn't meet him at first, but I met someone else there, and they were like, "Oh, we're hiring," and then it was like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay." I just was there looking around, looking at the crystals and stuff, because you know I'm spiritual, right? And looking at the crystals and shit, and looking at all the antiques and all the evil eye and all the dream catchers, and so, I was just casually asking about a job. Next thing you know, they calling me, "Can you come in for an interview?" I came in, met Mr. Leo, he was my manager, and he loved me. He was gay, right? So it's nothing like that. But he loved me, and I loved him too. And I did not let any of them know that I was homeless. I literally, like I said, it's so easy to falsify information. It's so easy to falsify documents. And I literally was like, well, this is my address, right? I got a P.O. box, I think, and then I think my first month working there, I was just like on pins and needles because I was still so scared about this harassment, right? And so they employed me, and I started to work, and I started to go throughout the mall and started to use my mall employee discount and started to shop at the shop too. And got so much, and I met so many people, and during my job there, being a sales representative, and literally realized that I was so good at connecting with people, and that helped me study my craft as well. We had tarot decks in there. I became a henna artist. They taught me how to, to paint henna, and this was like me. I started learning about different stones. Like I can literally look at a stone and tell you what stone it is. I know the properties of all stones and most stones and stuff like that. And then I was able to go to Sedona and visit all of the beautiful crystals in Sedona and go to the literally giant crystal fair in Sedona. It was like literally this spiritual ass place. Like Arizona is literally a spiritual ass place. I recommend everybody go there. It was like I found my peace in Arizona. And although like there were periods where I was still scared about harassment, slowly but surely as days go on, working full time, working day after day, I started getting a paycheck, and I started saving my paycheck, and I said, okay, I can't keep sleeping at the airport. I need to find a place to sleep. And so I found a shelter. When I tell you this was the most disgusting place I ever lived in, ever seen in my life, but they let me stay there, and I had a job so I could come in after late curfew. And so I had a bed, and I literally woke up at 5 a.m. every day, went to the gym, started with my yoga sadhana, then I would head over to work after literally worked all day, and, you know, came to the gym back at 9 or 10 p.m., did another yoga sadhana, then came back to my shelter, had my bed, and realized that I was still waking up every day. I was not getting kidnapped, and realized that I was safe and sound. And so I needed to get out of the dangerous parts of the country, which was the Northeast, which is my favorite part of the country, but it was the dangerous parts of the country where all the attacks on my properties were happening. My people were stealing. When I was on the Northeast, people were, I was at the airport, my belongings would come up missing. Um, my, my whole entire locker full of belongings came up missing. And yes, it is a wig. LOL. Does it look natural? Thank you. LOL. Um, so yeah, you can find more about this wig over at XO Felicia Trees. But anyways, you guys. So I'm late for Satna, so I know they're like, where you at? But I think we're just chilling on this Saturday because I was just like, I wanted to sleep in. But anyways, so day after day, I started getting stronger within my physical vessel. I got back in my body, started feeling safe again. Now I'm accruing a paycheck, started saving. Next thing you know, I got me a storage facility. I got me a shelter. I got me a job. Okay. Next thing you know, I'm at the pole studio. You at the pole studio now. You all fancy. So I'm at the pole studio. I even got a membership at the studio, and This studio called Purple Palace Studio in Arizona. They are brilliant, small studio, brilliant dancers, beautiful dancers from all over the country, all over the world, and started taking Russian exotic, and they changed the game in my life. Affordable classes, affordable open pole classes started to take classes. So now I'm like, dang, I'm being successful in my homeless life. So, eventually things just started to build from there. And so, I think just taking those leaps of faith is what really helped me. And slowly but surely, I started believing in those steps that I was taking, because I'm like, okay, I was guided to get to the West. I got to the West and found a shelter that I felt safe in, found a job, found employment, started honing my skills, right? So I think it was just one blessing and one miracle after the next. And then one day I was like, I'm tired of living in this shelter, because it was like some new girls that had moved in and they was bothering me. So one day I walked in, and I keep my shit pristine. My bed made, ain't no trash nowhere. I get all my stuff up. They was messing with me. And so, they new girls moved in. It was a lesbian couple that was sharing a bed next to me. I was just like, oh my God, irritating. So I was like, they were so loud and obnoxious. And I was just like, everybody else here is just being regular. You just being nasty. And so one day I walked in the shelter, and what everybody had, it was a big pile of trash underneath my bed. I took my hand and I shoved that shit right back to where it belonged, because I knew it was them. I had to leave the shelter. Let's just say I beat both of their ass, and I left the shelter and ran into another miracle of a room where it was mostly paid for by some man. And I just feel like each opportunity, although I'm still persevering, although I'm still struggling to make ends meet, I get a lot of gifts, I get a lot of presents, I get a lot of support from my community. And I'd rather have my creativity than to be stuck in some debilitating, soul draining corporate job where I'm getting slandered. But that was awful. That was awful. But I think slowly but surely taking guided steps have helped me study, right? Is what I rely on is our support from our community. Now it's all community. It's all you guys' gifts. It's all your views. It's all your support. It's all the purchases that you're making at Cosmic Intelligence. Like, a lot of planning and preparation met the opportunity of you guys. So I'm literally getting so emotional, because I was doing all of this traveling and just working on my decks and working, like, you guys know our deck and a lot of other decks that are still in the works and stuff like that, and a lot of studying and a lot of just working and just training, and like have allowed me to come and be employed here at Felicia Nutrice Tarot so that I could survive. So I'm like really emotional about that, actually, you guys. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you, honey. Bless you, bless you, bless you. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for asking that question, because I quite literally would, maybe I definitely needed that, like, expression. And now I just feel like I think a part of me understanding what manifestation is just, like I said, taking those leaps of faith and just following guided actions, and just like, I know it may be hard, like, oh, everyone says, take a leap of faith, take a leap of faith. That's so generic. Nobody wants to hear that. No one wants to hear, keep the faith, right? That's so generic. I hate that. When we talk about manifestation, I really want us to understand that it involves a co-creational process. It involves you taking, maybe your circumstances are not going to be what you want it to be. You have to be co-creational. There are situations where my opportunities fall through, where people disappoint me, let me down. Situations let me down, right? Situations are just for a season, just for a period of time. And I just have to accept that it's for a season, and that my journey is about an evolution. It's about continuously doing the work. You don't go through one cycle and be like, where's my manifestation, right? You have to continue to be creative, finding creative solutions, thinking outside the box. Manifesting a yoga studio, it may not be a brick and mortar, you know, that I own a lease, right? But it's definitely a place where it's definitely a level up from working in the gym where it's noisy, where I can't connect with my community, right? So just understanding that living your dream life doesn't mean having what society will deem as success, right? Right? So sometimes it's just about how you perceive things. And feeling very happy with my progress. Be like, okay, I'm really happy here. Like, I'm so happy. I'm like, dang, I'm so happy. I'm not like scared anymore. I'm so happy that I have like resources to maintain, that I save my money and I slowly but surely acquire my resources that I want and need. And that all these planning, you know, met with you guys and just allow all this, you know, validation to come in, allow all these confirming experiences to come in, validating my experiences. The collective and the community validates my experiences, helps me understand what I've been going through, inspires my creativity anymore, even more. So I think, yes, I am in Texas. Oh, no, I'm not. I know. We were literally just talking about this again. No, I'm not, but they be cute too. LOL. But anyways, you guys, God bless you for all the things. I love you guys so much. Anyways, so enough yap. I can't believe that took 20 minutes, but yeah, that is kind of how I feel like. I hope that answers some questions, kind of give you some kind of insight about my journey and how we're here, how we've gotten here. Because there's been a lot of like, maybe there is confusion about how I have gotten here because it is a very unique journey, very rare. Because I definitely have been a victim and a lot of members in our community have as well. So, you know, there's been a lot of extenuating circumstance. Like a lot of people have had a lot more opportunities and privileges and just security. And, you know, I think a part of me just feeling, you know, understanding that your safety always comes first. And if you're not feeling safe, it could be a mental health issue, but it could quite literally be a real threat. And challenging your perception helps you heal that deficiency within your root chakra. What is the challenge to your survival, and what creative solutions can we employ to help you so that you're not a woman or a child at risk? Okay, your security or your survival is challenged. What, where are we, and where do we go from here? Okay, I think that is the major thing, okay, on how to elevate. Even if you're not going through something crazy like that, just being like, hey, I'm in a really unhappy corporate job right now, or I'm in a really unhappy job right now, and I wish to be an influencer full time, or I wish to own my own business, right? Understanding where you are and how you can strategize around your current circumstances, okay? I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining part 2 as well if you're here. But I'll see y'all in tomorrow for sunrise sadhana, sunrise soul. I might just, should I just do sadhana in the morning? Hello, my friend. I don't know what banana. Do I look like a banana? I do look like a banana. Yo, I have a problem with bananas right now. I don't like bananas. I used to like bananas, but being homeless and a banana being a fruit that you don't have to refrigerate and stuff like that is really was overdone. The banana, no, I don't like bananas no more. I don't like them. I'm like, every time I see a banana, I'll be like, ugh. Like, I try to get a banana, and I'm like, I don't want it. I don't want bananas. But I'm like, that was a trauma response to bananas. But anyways, you guys, I love you so much. I'll see you for yoga. Don't forget to shop Cosmic Intelligence. There's a pick a card coming up. Shop these 2 perfumes. I have them like in stock like hella. These were like our best sellers, but I think everybody that wanted them kind of got them. But I'm like, please go shop some more so we can have more money in our community. Okay? I love you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.